月曜と火曜だけど、月曜日と火曜日だけ。だ今日も all you can eat。行きたいかね、今日も。
美味しかったよ。
ああ、で今日も行きたい。
今日は、ちょっといいや、今日。
来週になるよね。来週の月曜か火曜で。
行ってもいいけど、わかんないね。
じゃあ、後で帰り教えてくれたらいい。もし行きたいなら。行ってもいいし。大人の、あれだから、お腹すき次第だよ。
Trust, and it's I'm not sure if it's available in Missouri or not. We would have to check on that, but essentially if it is, it can be a pretty simple way, kind of like a transfer on death deed, which is what they call it in other states, where you keep full control of your property, you own it while you're alive, but then upon your death it automatically goes to your beneficiary that you name in the deed. So it can be a very effective tool to bypass probate, but not require you to put the full trust in place, which, as I said, can run you several $1,000s. Dwayne, I hope that helps you, my friend. Thanks for your call. We're going to take a quick break and then back with our final segment. We'll be right back.
Faith and Finance is underwritten by Certified Kingdom Advisor Kevin Bruce with Aligned Investment Research, helping families across Collin County honor God by stewarding wealth with wisdom and purpose. Because true peace of mind comes from aligning wealth with God's design. Learn more at align7.com or call 972-972-8465. 972-972-8465. Align is a registered investment advisor.
Band-aid for infertility. Like, it is a calling, and God can change the desire of your heart and make that so rewarding. It's the most beautiful, selfless thing. It's pure religion, but it's not a fix to I desire biological child. God has to deal with that in your heart separately.
Hannah's Heart, encouraging couples through infertility and miscarriage. Saturdays 4 a.m. Central on AFR or on the AFR app.
Faith-Fi is grateful for support from One Ascent. One Ascent believes that your values inspire why you invest and how they can inspire how you invest. One Ascent's goal is to provide solutions designed for every need and invest in businesses that bless the people and places God has made. They want to help investors do well by doing good, to explore a new way of investing that aligns with your values. More information is available at oneascent.com and by clicking Analyze My Investments.
Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Today, put your heart into something that makes an eternal impact. Heart for Lebanon is sharing the gospel and protecting girls from early marriage, child labor, and violence. Your gift of $114 helps reach 3 at-risk girls with hope and a brighter future. Give generously. Text FAITH to 98656. That's FAITH to 98656. Or visit faithfi.com/Lebanon.
Delighted to have you with us today on Faith and Finance on American Family Radio. Hey, before we head back to the phones, let me remind you, there's a program we call Partners. Faith-Fi Partners are those that support us on a monthly basis. And as a listener-supported ministry, we can only bring you this broadcast, our magazine, and our devotionals and our app and all the great resources we provide to encourage you in your stewardship journey as a result of those that support the ministry. And so if you love the program, maybe you listen regularly, you've called in, you've gotten some helpful advice, and you'd like to support our work, we'd certainly be grateful. Just head to faithfi.com/give. That's faithfi.com/give. Partners support the ministry at $35 a month or more. And we say thank you in part by sending you 4 copies of our magazine, Faithful Steward, each quarter. Any new study and devotional, including our brand new study called Wisdom Over Wealth, a study on the book of Ecclesiastes, and we give you a pro subscription to the FaithFi app. You can learn more again, faithfi.com/give. All right, let's head back to the phones to Indianapolis. Leslie, how can I help you?
Hi, yes. My question is, we are wanting to update our kitchen by painting the cabinets and painting the interior of our home, and I'm trying to figure out if a HELOC or a home equity loan would be good to do, or should we just borrow from our own investment savings? We're planning to pay it off within 6 months to a year, and I know there are some penalties if you pay off those loans early, so just trying to figure out which would be best.
Yeah. Well, you would be able to find a HELOC without an early termination penalty, but there would absolutely be expenses associated with you taking out that loan. So I would say if you have the ability and you can really see a pathway to getting this paid off in 6 months, I would say let's just try to pull it out of savings. If you did that, would you still have an emergency reserve to fall back on?
Yes.
Okay, and how many months roughly of expenses would you have in emergency savings?
We would be fine.
Okay, yeah. So I would say that makes...
This is an investment savings account where
Got it.
It would be to make investments based on what's happening in the market.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think just given that we're talking a 6-month period of time, you've got the money sitting in money market, it's probably not earning a whole lot, and it's probably earning less than what you would be paying on that HELOC, especially, with the prime rate where it is. I mean, you'll probably be paying 7% or more on that money. And so I would say let's just pay it out of your investment account, assuming that's not a retirement account where you're going to have a taxable event, and then just try to replenish that money when you can.
Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for your call today. Danville, Indiana is where we're headed next. Hi, Pam. How can I help you?
Hi, Rob. Thanks for taking my call. I was just confused about something. I've heard you say many times that if a person has a trust set up, that their property will not go through probate. But I was looking on Google, and it said that testamentary trust will go through probate. That's what we have, testamentary trust. I called their quarters office at the courthouse, and they were saying that it would go through probate. I'm not worried about our bank accounts or brokerage. I'm just worried about our house.
Got it. Yes, you are correct. So there's the testamentary trust is a little different. That's created by your will, and so it only goes into effect after you pass away, and your will goes through probate. That's different than what we were talking about, which is essentially a living trust. The testamentary trust does not avoid probate. The living trust does. The living trust would go into effect as soon as it's created, and it would allow you to retitle assets in the name of the living trust, and then the trustee has the ability to manage those assets prior to your death, if you're incapacitated, let's say, at your death, or even beyond your life based on the trust documents. But that testamentary trust created by the will would in fact involve probate.
Oh, all right. The wording, it clears it up, because on Google said if you have a living will, it won't go through probate. And I thought living will meant the healthcare part, but that's just a different type of trust for property. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and you are correct. There's a distinction there. So the living will is that legal document that spells out your wishes for medical care if you're unable to speak for yourself, especially about end-of-life decisions, life support, and those kinds of things. A living trust is a type of trust that goes into effect right away once assets are placed in the trust, and therefore it does bypass probate. So you've got 3 things going on here. We've got the testamentary trust, which is what you've got, does go through probate. The living trust, which goes into effect right away and avoids probate, and then the living will, which which is that legal document for medical care wishes.
Oh, I see. Okay, but that clears it up. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for your call. Chicago is where we're headed next. Subakar, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi Rob. Yeah, this is Walker. I have got a question where I just want your advice. I've got a town home and a single family home, and I've got 60,000 home equity line of credit, and I've got like 3 credit cards which I have like for 40,000 dollars. So right now, whatever we are making, we are trying to pay only the minimum, and with the difficulty, we are trying to make those minimum payments as well. So I just want your advice there. What is the best way that I could get this debt filled as quickly as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you called. So you said you had 40,000 in credit card debt. You're making the minimum payment. What is that? Around $1,000, $1,200 a month?
Yeah, one of the credit card it has got 0% interest, and it's gonna end in a couple of months. So when that kicks in, then the payments are gonna go higher.
Okay.
So
And
right
then
now,
what other
also, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
what other debts do you have? You mentioned a HELOC.
Yeah, I've got a HELOC. So right now the property has been rented out, and the rent is kind of taking care almost HELOC and EMI.
Okay, great. And so you're able to cover the minimum payments. You're just not getting ahead because of the high interest rates.
Yes, and then it's getting piled up because I have to like buy the groceries and all of that. So the monthly maintenance is going on the credit cards now, and then it's climbing up slowly. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next step, I think, for you is to reach out to our friends at Christian Credit Counselors. You know, my preferred way for you to get out of debt is not debt settlement where you stop paying them and they get past due and then they try to negotiate a settlement, because that trashes your credit and you could end up with a legal judgment against you. It's not debt consolidation where we try to roll up all the debt into a new loan. It's debt management, which involves a nonprofit credit counseling agency. So essentially what would happen is the cards would be closed. They'd stay right where they are with the existing creditors, but when they're moved into the credit counseling program, which each of the creditors have, the interest rate would drop. And the combination of that level monthly payment every month that you would now send to Christian Credit Counselors, and they would send it on to your creditors, the combination of that level payment plus the lower interest rate, which would probably be dropped to somewhere between 0 and 10%, is going to help you pay off that debt about 80% faster. The key is you've got to have enough income that you can stay current with that, that monthly payment. But as long as you can get a budget that balances and allows you to stay current, you're going to get this paid off much quicker because of these lower interest rates. How does that sound, though?
Yes. So if I get it right, the debt consolidation is probably not the best way to move forward, and
It really isn't, because what happens there is you take out a new loan, and the appeal is, well, I'll roll it up in a new loan, and instead of paying 23% interest, I'm paying 10. And that sounds good. The problem is it takes the pressure off. Often I get calls from people that say, hey, Rob, remember we called 6 months ago and we got that consolidation loan, and guess what? Now I got the consolidation loan and the credit card debt's back, because they didn't fix the problem that got themselves in the debt in the first place. So really what's better is let's get the budget fixed. Let's dial back your spending, live within your means. Let's leave the credit card debt right where it is and close those accounts. Let's drop the interest rate through credit counseling. Let's get that debt paid off once and for all, and then let's never go back there. And my experience is that's just a far better approach than consolidation.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I think your next step is to reach out to ChristianCreditCounselors.org. That's ChristianCreditCounselors.org. And they should be able to take good care of you. We appreciate your call today. Let's finish up with Debbie in Florida. Debbie, go ahead.
Hi, I'm looking for some of the advantages of a dynasty trust, in that I'd like my heirs to only be able to access the interest on the principal and leave the principal for the next generation. But I also like the idea of a charitable remainder trust, in case I want to cash out something that will create a big capital gains tax in the same tax year. Is there a combination of the two?
Yeah, it's a good question. So essentially, a dynasty trust keeps the wealth in your family for multiple generations. And so it protects assets from estate taxes. The challenge there is you've got to have a pretty big estate. I mean, I think the new bill that was just passed raises the, where the estate taxes, they don't kick in until you get over $15 million. So for most people, estate taxes are not an issue. Now, it can protect from creditors and divorces and things like that, but there's no charitable benefit, and it requires pretty careful management. The charitable remainder trust pays you or someone else income for life or for a set term and then leaves what's left to charity. So you get the income for life, you get the immediate tax deduction, and then you support a cause you care about. Two different things. I think perhaps the next step for you is to visit with an advisor who can just understand a little bit more about your goals and objectives, perhaps work in partnership with an estate planning attorney, because these get pretty complex, and I'd want you to think through all the different aspects of it. If you want to find a CPA, just go to faithfi.com. Thanks for your call, Devin. Hey, big thanks to my team today, Devin, Sandy, Taylor, couldn't do it without him, plus everybody here at FaithFi that makes this possible. We're listener supported. If you want to support the ministry, go to faithfi.com/give and come back and join us tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG Greenville, Dallas.
Pulled out all the stops to try to destroy the family for a very long time. That's why the American Family Association stands boldly in the gap to protect and strengthen this God-breathed institution. Visit AFA.net today and discover the resources available for you and your family. And if you would, please take a minute to show your support. That's AFA.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. President announced Monday that the government will federalize Washington, D.C.'s police and call in the National Guard to crack down on crime, blaming teenagers, drug addicts, and homeless people for violence. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the Trump administration is enacting its Make America Safe Again, Tough on Crime agenda.
We're going to work right alongside our law enforcement partners as force multipliers. This is what the American people voted for. If we can't control our capital city, then what does the rest of the country look like? And what signals does the rest of the country take from that?
Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares talks about why crime is so bad in the city.
Well, this is what we know about Washington, D.C., and this is from actually the former police chief as well, that the average arrest record of someone arrested on a murder charge in Washington, D.C. is 11 prior arrests. And yes, you have a problem in the juvenile system right now of so many integrities.
Instead, Armand Langford stabbed a woman, kidnapped a family at knife point, and robbed Brendan Strong's wife and children. He lays the blame for this on the judge who released this violent felon.
It's squarely on you. It's squarely on you. You allowed this to happen. This is something that was not a surprise to anyone. Myself, once I finally found out who it was, and obviously it came out in the news. No one's surprised if it's a pattern. This is something that's stemming back, nearly a decade. This guy is robbing people. He's robbing businesses. And you stamped this. You stamped this for him to be rehabilitated based on what? Based on what?
Australia on Monday became the latest country to recognize a supposed Palestinian state, joining France, Great Britain, and Canada, who recently made the same decision. Steve Jordahl reports.
Austrian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called the situation in Gaza a humanitarian catastrophe, but puts the blame squarely on Israel, despite the atrocities that Hamas has inflicted on its own people, not to mention Israel. Dean Bachman of Regent University says the war has been a military disaster for the Palestinians, but a public relations coup.
When they've made every wrong that there is, their last move is a PR campaign. And so they put pressure on these Western nations to make a dumb decision, which is to, quote, recognize a Palestinian state.
Australia, Great Britain, France, and Canada all plan to make the recognition of a so-called Palestinian state
Statement, because really they're all trying to be a part of the cool kid club, but a big reason why immigration in these Western nations.
Bachmann says the UN vote effectively indicates countries see the terrorist group Hamas as a legitimate governing body and that they have a right to a country.
That's a big deal to have so-called sane Western countries say that a foreign terrorist organization has the right to organize themselves as a legitimate country and be recognized.
And she says the UN vote might be the last straw for Israeli ally Donald Trump.
If they go down this road, it wouldn't shock me if President Trump wouldn't make the same decision to pull the United States out of the United Nations.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
More news online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty P.
I'm thoroughly looking forward to our Weekend with AFA coming up in October, where we're going to be able to meet our supporters like yourself, to fellowship, to visit our facilities here in Tupelo, and to have everyone come together for a wonderful weekend.
It's a Weekend with AFA, Thursday, October 2nd through Saturday, October 4th in Tupelo, Mississippi. Speakers will include Abraham Hamilton III, Jenna Ellis, Tim Barton, Tim Wildman, and more. Register at afa.net/weekend. Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues. That's the name of this show on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025. In case you were wondering what day it was. And joining me in studio today, here in Tupelo, is Wesley Wildman. Good morning, Wesley.
And good morning.
And Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
R, plural, two of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And,
don't look at me like you want affirmation on anything English related.
Okay,
because
yeah, you did.
I speak good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how you spell that. And Ray Pritchard's in Kansas City. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Tim. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I haven't spoken to you. We were on the show last week?
I was not.
Okay, neither were I. Where were we traveling?
Far northern Maine. Speaking at a Bible conference in Weston, Maine, which is we're on a lake. We're so far north. The other side of the lake was New Brunswick. So way up in northern Maine. And Tim, have you ever been to Maine?
I have not been to Maine. One of the few states I have not been to.
Might be.
No, we're going. Alice, my wife, and she wants to go. We're going to go to. We went to Boston and did the whole Boston thing for a week, but we want to go up into New England further. But that's what
I got to tell you. I don't want to start an argument, but Maine might be the most beautiful state in America.
Okay.
I love North Carolina. I love Alaska. I mean, there are a lot of beautiful places, but Maine is, once you get past the Portland area, it's unspoiled. Unspoiled forest. Yeah.
The population of Maine as of last year was only 1.4 million. So, I mean, Mississippi has twice the population of Maine.
And they like it that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look up the weather.
They like it that. Oh, the weather is nice. What, 8 months out of the year?
Yeah, we was in the 50s at night and upper 70s during.
Okay, so while you were in Maine, the reason I asked you this, while you were in Maine, and I talked about this yesterday, and I tried not to bore people with this.
It wasn't boring. I was listening.
Okay, well, I try not to bore people, but really, when you get to be past 60, you don't know if you're boring people or not. You know what?
And they're not going to tell you, because they look at you and say, you know what?
And you know what?
Really fella.
And you try not to bore people, but then you go, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're going to listen to me anyway.
It's the circle of life. That's what it is.
You know, Wesley, that was profound, son. I'm proud of you right there.
Proud of
the circle of life.
You may not own me here. You may not.
Hey, now you're going to break out in Elton John. Do you even know who Elton John is?
I'll look him up.
Okay, you look him up there.
what's that? We got a tornado warning here?
That sure sounds like it. No, that's that annoying alarm that I have that because my brother's office is close to mine, and it really frustrates him.
Okay, well, from now on, why don't you turn that off during the show? How about that?
Yes, okay.
So, Ray, back to my point. I do have one here.
Yes.
While you were in Maine,
yes,
Allison, my wife, and I, we went out to Yellowstone National Park.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
This
So
was
how was that?
We planned this about 3 weeks ago. We're wild and crazy like this, you know what I'm saying? We just did. So we said we're tired of the heat and humidity here in our home state of Mississippi, which we love. But middle of August, you know, your attitude changes. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
You're ready for the end of September to get here. So anyway, we decided to go somewhere cool. Went out to where your son breathed in Maine, right? I mean in Montana, right? Somewhere in the. So anyway, yeah, I know you've traveled extensively to Montana. Well, you know, Yellowstone's in mostly Wyoming, but it's also part Idaho and part Montana.
Okay, so if you're starting in Tupelo, how do you get from Tupelo to Yellowstone? Where did you fly from and to?
Well, we flew from Memphis, had a direct flight to Salt Lake City.
Wow.
So you get in, you rent a car in Salt Lake City.
3 hour flight.
2.5 hour flight, and then you rent a car and you drive 4.5 hours up to.
That's amazing.
Up to Yellowstone, but then went Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and then flew back. But yeah, so we did that. But the reason I mentioned that, 'cause I know you have family in Montana. Yeah.
Okay, so where did you stay when you were?
Well, most of our listeners heard this yesterday, but I'll tell them again, because what are they going to do?
I want to hear it.
What are they going to do?
Cut it off?
Turn the radio off? Maybe so. We went to Glamping. You ever heard of it? Can you pronounce it?
Glamping?
Yeah, you ever heard of it?
That's real fancy. That's a real fancy camping.
That's camping without roughing it. That's what I call it.
I'm with you. Sign me up.
No, it was. I had some points that I cashed in. I don't know that I would have paid what I paid, and I'm not going to tell you.
That's right. It's literally ran by hotel chains.
I'm not going to tell you $350 a night.
It's Russian.
Oh brother.
I think it was $300 a night, but you know,
it is what it is.
It is what it. Hey, let me tell you, just average hotel room up in that part of the country is going to be $250 at this time of year. Anyway,
sure.
We went up there and went glamping in a big canvas tent. As I said yesterday, it is a canvas tent and it has a king size bed, a shower, toilet, and a potbelly stove that you have to put your own wood in. Because I told him, I said, listen, for $300 a night, somebody's going to come do my wood.
Should come here and put the wood in for me.
Getting out of bed at 3 in the morning. So anyway, we had a great time, and first time we ever done that before, yeah. So
you're in the tent. I mean, it's really, really nice, but I mean, you're outside, obviously.
You are outside. Yes, my friend. It got down to 38 degrees, and you got that potbelly stove over there. You got to keep, keep going. I think that's what you call it, right? Potbelly stove.
That's right. But did you have any squirrels, rabbits, any bears?
The coyotes came up kind of close. Of course, we have coyotes here, but
sure.
We have. What struck me was, and then we'll move on. I promise, people. I won't bore you with this trip anymore. But what struck me, Ray, was that went out. So I sent my brother a video, right? Because I went outside the tent about 11 o'clock. I said, "Listen to this." And it was stone silence because there was no crickets.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
it's surreal silent.
In Mississippi, the crickets started February.
Oh yeah.
Right. And they never stop.
They don't stop. It's part of your life. I said it's like living around an airport. You just don't even notice it anymore.
Right.
But when so I don't know if it's it must be the cold weather at night in the mountains that don't allow for crickets, or maybe they're there. They knew I was coming. I don't know what happened, but anyway, it's a bizarre when you're used to crickets going full,
right
24/7, but at night they start the crickets I'm talking about.
They start late afternoon.
Where did you go again? Yellowstone?
Yellowstone and Grand Teton.
It is currently 61 degrees.
Well, see what I'm talking about?
God bless America.
And you come check with me in 3 months right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I would love to see Maine.
Those national parks up there, they're only open like 6 months a year.
Right. I want to see Maine myself, but I want to see it like at the very beginning of fall when the leaves start turning, and then I want to quickly fly home.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there in Maine for the winter.
No, I thank God every day that my dad took a church job back in the 70s and moved his young family to Mississippi from Ohio. Every winter.
You remember cold winters in Ohio?
Oh, no, I don't. That was before I was born. And I thank God that God gave my dad the wisdom to move away from cold weather.
Cold weather, yeah. Well, but it's a different level of cold from even Ohio to Montana and Wyoming and those folks. Those are some hardy.
Yeah, Fred's laughing at us.
Some hardy
calling us
folks.
weaklings.
All right, you're listening to Today's Issues, not the Travel Channel, but we appreciate it. And good to have you back home, Ray, from
Thank you.
State of Maine. Now, you done with your travels for a while? You got to go.
No, one more. Next week, back up to New Jersey to do my final Bible conference of the year is next week at Harvey Cedars, right on the Jersey Shore is where it is.
Okay, now what are you going to teach on?
The life of Jacob. I've been working with the life of Jacob, Journeys with Jacob, the masterpiece of God's messy grace in human life.
Okay, that's your thing. And so is that like a week-long talk? Or what?
Yeah, I'll be giving 6 talks on the life of Jacob. And Jacob was a messy kind of guy, so there's unlimited great stories, good and bad, from Jacob's life.
Okay. What, have you put that together in a book form or anything? Or
no, but I think that'll be next after this summer. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Chris, what's the first depressing story you got for us?
Yeah,
this
well,
morning?
when we pray later today, we need to pray for families in Austin, Texas, as well as first responders. And I say that because a gunman opened fire yesterday in the parking lot of a Target store in Austin, Texas, killing 2 adults and a child before stealing 2 cars during a getaway that ended with police using a taser to detain him on the other side of Austin. Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis said the suspect, who, by the way, has been identified as Ethan Blaine Nineker, she said he's a man in his 30s with a, quote, mental health history. He fled the scene yesterday in a stolen car, wrecked that car, and then stole another from a dealership. He was captured about 20 miles later in South Austin, where he was taken into custody, and he remains in custody today.
So he shot 2 people dead in the parking lot?
And a child.
3 people dead.
Mm-hmm.
At a Target in Austin.
Yes.
Was there any motivation?
No, authorities are still investigating that. Now, this does come after that knife incident at a Michigan Walmart. So it's the second attack on the store in a couple
sometimes
weeks.
You find out later that it was a domestic dispute or something like that.
Does not appear to be yet.
I've looked earlier and I'm looking now and I still can't find a photo of the person who...
The suspect? Well, what does...
Yeah, our AP story on AFN.net, the AP did not identify him. However,
if he's not white.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
No, I mean, oftentimes that is the case. Now, the Daily Mail did go so far as to identify the shooter.
Yeah, if he's white, his picture's going to be on there. Usually. Listen, we mentioned last week, these are tragic incidents, and 3 people are dead, and it's, so I don't mean to in any way, shape, or form sound like I'm making light of this, but it also stresses the importance of having the ability to carry a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's 100%. Yeah, so...
to carry a gun yourself, to protect and defend yourself.
Right, a minimum, there's a couple studies out there. You got your liberal studies and your conservative studies, but the most liberal study would show that over 500,000 potential crimes and or murders or homicide or burglaries, over 500,000 instances are prevented because of someone just actually having or brandishing or showing that there's a firearm in the area or on their body. And then as much as up to 300 million, and that's annually. So if your most conservative study would say that 3 million instances are resolved or never occur because someone in the room has a firearm. Mm-hmm. And then as few as 500,000. So if you look at those studies, that proves the having it and being able to carry a firearm is far more preventative
and other violence being done
than other violence being done.
That was the case in the Walmart stabbing attack from late July.
It's the only way to stop.
Yeah, an armed bystander apprehended the guy in the parking lot.
Right, he had a gun.
Yeah,
he had a gun. And yesterday, I'm thinking like probably, I don't know. Now the guy got away, but also if you're in the Target parking lot and you'd be thankful that another citizen had a gun if this guy's firing, killing people.
Sure, absolutely. So,
all right. So you're listening to today's next story, Chris.
Well, President Trump and the administration are still out there laying out their plans for what they're calling a federal takeover of Washington, D.C. in terms of law enforcement. For those that didn't hear it yesterday, the president was on the air for about 2 hours in a press conference that included a lot of people, including Attorney General Pam Bondi, Jeanine Pirro, who's now a U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. President Trump, long story short, wants to use the National Guard and some other things to try to up law enforcement there in D.C. He says crime has gotten terrible all over the city.
He's putting the National Guard. Well, I want to make sure I got this correct. Over the police department.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that?
Yes, and for a period of like the next 30 days, the Department of Justice will have control.
Or maybe it's the Department of Justice. Okay, Ray, have you heard about this story?
You were talking about what Trump's doing up in D.C.,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, yeah, he had a major press conference yesterday. He said we're cleaning up our nation's capital from crime.
Yes.
By taking it over, and